If you've been watching the real estate market closely, perhaps wondering when to finally make your move and buy that home, you're not alone. A recent poll by the Royal Bank of Canada shows that nearly two-thirds of Canadians, 64%, now believe there is simply no perfect time to buy one. And while falling interest rates may be opening up a window of opportunity for some, a staggering 75% of prospective buyers say persistent economic uncertainty and high living costs are forcing them to step back and proceed with extreme caution. Joining us now to break down what this means for Canadians looking to possibly buy a home is Janet Boyle. She's the Senior Vice President of Home Equity Finance with RBC. Janet, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Jasmine. Thank you so much for having me.
So firstly, what would you say is the biggest takeaway from the recent data from the survey regarding how everyday Canadians are viewing the housing market?
Yeah, I think as you indicated at the top, it's this notion that there isn't really a perfect time to enter, but those who are interested in purchasing still want to enter. So we saw that 64% said, I don't really know if it's the right time. But underpinning that, we saw that those that are ready to enter the market in the next 2 years said that it is the right time, 45% in cases. And so I think there is a view that with housing prices and interest rates, there is an opportunity now to be able to enter the housing market.
Okay, and you're right. The poll does reveal that 45% of people planning to buy within 2 years think right now is a good time, yet 75% are still hesitant. So how do buyers balance that desire to jump in with the fear of economic uncertainty?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. It's something I get asked all the time, so it's not unique to this period. And I always ask, do people have a plan? I think the most important thing in uncertainty is really understanding what your situation looks like. So looking at, do you have a savings plan? Have you been able to put money aside for a down payment? Something as simple as understanding the money that comes in and the money that goes out every month. And this is why working with somebody who is an expert, whether that's a mortgage specialist, a financial planner, really to help you understand this notion that I do feel ready. I have put money aside. I understand the situation. I know how much I can afford. And then that allows people to go out with more confidence because they've got that knowledge and understanding of what's the process going to look like and what have I done to prepare myself. And I think when we feel prepared, we're much more ready and excited to take that step.
Yeah, a checklist is definitely needed. The report also mentions that people are overwhelmed by the unknowns of home ownership. So I have to ask you, beyond the initial down payment, what hidden, costs are there that are causing anxiety for potential buyers?
Yeah, and I think this is why getting information from an expert, Jason, is so important. So if you think about the down payment, but then you also want to understand there's real estate fees, there's fees for closing costs, you need to have the home or the condo appraised. So there's a number of other things that need to be taken into consideration. It's not just the down payment and it's not just the purchase price, but all of those other elements that want to go into a homeowner's decision to say it is the right time to buy because they've got an understanding of the other fees. I think lots of times people will look at, what's the purchase price and is it within my budget? But we want to make sure that when you're working with a professional, they've also given you an understanding of some of the other things you want to be able to take into consideration. So you have a really fulsome picture when you're stepping forward into home ownership for the first time. Or if you're buying your next home, sometimes if you've been in your home for a few years, you may not remember that first home purchase. And you want to make sure, again, that you're refreshed and you're current in terms of what are some of those other financial obligations that you're going to need to take into account to close on the home.
And finally, you sort of answered this already, but I want to focus on one practical step that Canadians can take that are, for Canadians that are looking to buy a home. What would that be to protect themselves and hopefully make that dream a reality of home ownership one day?
I think the thing that I always tell people, because you can get really, really excited when you're in that mindset, I'm ready to purchase a home. You go out and you start looking. really understand what can you afford. You want to make sure that you're looking at places that are going to be your future place to call home that are within your budget. It's so important to people to stay within your budget so that when you do realize that dream, that you're there and you feel not stretched. You don't feel that you've overextended yourself. You're able to manage those costs comfortably without thinking that I'm sort of really in a situation where I'm dollar to dollar or month to month. So understanding what you can afford, getting a pre-approval from your financial institution, and we'd love to welcome you at RBC, but make sure that you get that full picture to say, these are the places I should be looking. This is what I can afford.
All right, Janet, thanks so much for your time and insight today.
Thank you, Jasmine.
That is Janet Boyle, Senior Vice President of Home Equity Finance at RBC.